Dear friends, welcome to another edition of our program, Demystifying Academic Research. We, in this program, are going to talk about the idea of a main question in a thesis. We are going to look at the aims and objectives. We are going to see how we can create a connection from the aim statement, the main question, and the objectives. You know, the main question is what captures the entire thesis, because a thesis is a response to a question. And this program of today, session 6, is meant to create a connection from the research problem that we saw, the problem statement, and then to the main question, and then the objectives. Once more, my name is Mike Booker, and I want to encourage us to follow the program continuously. We subscribe, and we click the like button, we share, and of course we comment. Remember that in our last edition, the session number 5, we discussed about the issue of we'll talk about the problem, research problem, and the problem statement. And then we stated that when you are ending the problem statement, you end by giving an idea of what you intend to do. There's what we call the aim statement. And in our last problem that we were dealing about the doctors in the Protestant Reform Hospital, we said that this study, the aim statement was, this study will identify the quality of services provided to patients by doctors at the hospital. This study will identify why the quality of services provided to the patients at the hospital, the Protestant Reform Hospital, is unacceptable. Remember, we said the Protestant Reform Hospital is used hypothetically. That was the aim statement that came at the end of the problem statement, coming from the research problem. Now, we can, in this, normally you just turn the aim statement into a research question. There should be that connection to make sense academically. And in our case, this is how we turn it. You may just say, what are the factors that may contribute to the unacceptable quality of healthcare services provided to patients by doctors at the Protestant Reform Hospital? Remember that we, at the end of our problem statement, the aim statement that came up at the end, after we have explained that the problem statement has two parts, both the actual problem and its consequences or its implications. And we stated clearly that your research is out to make a response not to the consequences, but the cause of the consequences. In other words, the research is out to respond to the actual problem and not the consequence of the problem. The research is out to find out the factors that cause doctors not to provide the right services, standard services to the patients. It is not out to look at the consequences, like the fact that people might not have enough salary, like the fact that they may not pay bills. No. And the research, we may quickly add that research may not it may not solve the problem, but it may throw light. So don't think that your research must solve the problem. It may throw more light to understand what the problem is going on, to create awareness, and the problem can still be solved indirectly. So, since we have said that our research question, our main question is, what are the factors that may contribute to the unacceptable quality of services, healthcare services provided to patients by doctors at the Protestant Reform Hospital? We can now turn this same main question into a general objective. I hope you are seeing the connection from the research, research problem, the problem statement, the aim statement, what we aim to do, and they come down to the main question. They're now going down to the main objective. You also turn the same main question into objectives. You can change the research question to an objective in this form. Remember that what you set out to do is the objectives, and you always use the word to. For instance, let's say this research, you can use the word that the main question, the main objective is to assess the factors that might contribute to the unacceptable quality of healthcare services provided to patients by doctors at the Protestant Reformed Hospital. That's the main objective. To assess the factors that might have contributed to the unacceptable quality of healthcare services provided to patients by doctors at the Protestant Reformed Hospital. Now we can now go down now to break this our main objective to specific objectives. We can break it now. And to break it to specific objective, you have to make it it should be logical. And the simple way for you to get a guide is you can group it into the social, the cultural, the demographic, the economic, the behavioral, the environmental. All the objectives should start with two. And the objectives should be realistic. They should be attainable. They should be time-bound. If you're able to be measured, they should be specific. That's what they call the specific objectives. There should be clarity. There should be originality. They should be practical. You should have a scope. And this is how you can make it. And when you use the word to get a specific objective, you can say, for instance, 1, to assess, to identify, to better manage, to determine, to establish, to evaluate why, to explore, to compare, to do. You can just remember that objectives, whether main or specific, goes with to. For instance, in our case, you can say the one specific objective is to identify the economic factors which might have contributed to the unacceptable quality of services provided by doctors in this hospital and then you make it time bound from 1999 to 2003. For instance, you can say to assess the behavioral factors that may have caused medical doctors not to provide the necessary services to the patients. You can say to determine when the unacceptable factors actually started, to make it time bound. You must say to establish the number of patients that have suffered from this attitude. You must say to evaluate why these doctors behave this way. That is to make it time bound. And from now, you will now see that we will be able to create a connection from the aim statement to the main question and then to the objective. It should be connected. They should agree. They should tally. I think that is what we have to share this time. Remember, we are looking at the main question because that's what the project seeks to address. And then we'll connect the main question from the problem itself, the main question, and then we'll come down to the objectives so we can understand what we are out to work on. I pray that this program will be a blessing to somebody. Good luck with your studies.